Hello travelers, Boardman21 here, and today's build is the dual-wielding Humming Bee build. Now this is more of a meme-ish build. Yes, it was sponsored to make. I was supported through a Twitch stream in order to make this. However, we also have a viable build that does even more damage. However, that said, this build is actually better than you might think it is. You generate tons of ward. We built it into bleed on hit, so we're not so worried about the hit damage, and we actually do quite a bit. We'll get bleed from Shurikens, which will do hits, and then we're attacking super fast with Flurry, which is allowing us to apply a lot of bleeds, even though it only has that 60% bleed or ailment application effectiveness. This is a very powerful bleed build, obviously nowhere near the best. This is still a B rated build. It is an A tier build if you throw in some crafted weapons that obviously do more hit damage and can also apply the bleed, so it's really powerful. But you actually have quite a bit of survivability, and we did push it in empowered for quite a bit. You can take on Orbis, you can push a little bit into the corruption. It's obviously not super powerful, but when you're taking on 3, 4 or more enemies, you can stack a ton of ward. You can get 4, 5, 6,000 ward on a rogue, which is still leeching a good portion of damage if you ever get below that. So still a really good build, obviously not top tier. However, it is fun to play, and it's always fun to watch Flurry attack as fast as possible, as it's just got the force wave going in front, hitting everything. But let's go ahead and get into the skills, the interactions, just how it all works, and I will have 2 different build planners, one for the Humming Bees and one for some crafted weapons, which can do much better that are endgame bases. Alright, let's get into it. Alright, for skills I'm running Flurry, Shift, Shurikens, Smoke Bomb, and Decoy. For Flurry, we do have +2 levels to this. We have it set up to attack as fast as possible. We will be channeling, we will be getting mana back on hit with it, and we also have on the Force Wave. So we've got 3 points in Alacrity, 1 point in Boundless Blows, 2 points in Blood Reverie, 1 point in Second Wind, 1 point in Sap Willpower. This will allow us to gain 1 mana per hit, which will outperform the channel cost so that we can have 100% uptime of it. We also have 2 points in Relentless for some more attack speed, 1 point in Adrenaline Rush, 1 point in Giant Slayer, and 3 points in Blood Play, so we'll have more bleed chance per Adrenaline Rush that we have active. 2 points in Deep Strikes for more damage, 3 points in Precision for more critical strike chance, 1 point in Crescendo for less damage with the first and second strike, but 25% more with the third, and then 1 point in Shockwave, so we have Force Wave on use, which basically extends your attack outwards much further, so you're about twice as far, which allows you to kind of stay in mid-range instead of being full-on melee. Then for Shift, we've got 3 points in Shadow Recuperation, 5 points in Sleight of Hand, so that we throw Shurikens every time we shift. You can essentially just keep shifting, and using Flurry, just back and forth. That's all you have to do with this build. We got 4 points in Swift Recovery, 3 points in Momentum, so we'll gain haste, 1 point in Shadow Slip, so we are invulnerable while shifting, and 4 points in Elusive for that extra dodge rating for 1 second afterwards per point of dex that we have. For Shurikens, we have this set up to orbit around us, to pierce. It's also going to do a lot of physical shred for us so that we can do more damage with our other skills. So we've got 4 points in Ethereal Blades, 3 points in Alacrity, 1 point in Thin Shurikens, 1 point in Blade Shield, 4 points in Floating Blades, 3 points in Bladed Armor will also give us a bunch of increased armor while we have them, and 4 points in Abrasive Arsenal to apply 2 stacks of physical res shred per hit, which is going to allow you to do a lot more bleed damage and physical damage. For Smoke Bomb, we have this set up to be defensive as well as to allow our Shurikens to have a little bit more bleed chance. We've got 1 point in Shrouded in Darkness, 4 points in Rapid Concealment, 1 point in Thick Smoke, 1 point in Eroding Fumes, 2 points in Lingering Fumes, 3 points in Smoke Blades, 3 points in Blood Bandit, 4 points in Hidden Blow so that your Shurikens have 200% increased bleed chance, which is really powerful for this build. 1 point in Generosity, 1 point in Shrouded in Darkness, and 4 points in Rapid Concealment to try and get as much flat dodge rating and Glancing Blow as you can get. And then Decoy, of course, is just set up so that you can throw it every now and then if you're in trouble, and it can get you out of a big heap. It'll take the taunt, it'll allow enemies to kind of be away from you for a little bit to allow you to collect your thoughts and hopefully get back in the battle and stay alive. So for it, we have 3 points in efficient construction, 3 points in sonic detonation, 5 points in warning sound to give you haste for 5 seconds so you can really get the hell out of dodge if you really need to, 2 points in ear shatter, 1 point in embedded spikes, 1 point in lasting presence, 4 points in into the shadows, and 1 point in ambush. So you can gain some more critical strike multiplier per dodge rating that you had while it was active. For passives, we've got 42 points in the Rogue base class with 8 points in Swift Assassin, 8 points in Steady Hand, 8 points in Guile, 1 point in Twin Blade, 5 points in Dodge and Parry, 4 points in Duelist, and 8 points in Thief Guard. For the Bladedancer, we have 69 points. We got 8 points in Pursuit, 4 points in Cloak of Shadows, 1 point in Shroud of Dusk, 5 points in Veil of the Night, 10 points in Blood Serpent's Blades for that bleed chance per sword, really going to boost our damage there, 5 points in Scarlet Stream, 5 points in Crimson Cloud, 5 points in Blood Dance, 1 point in Flash of Steel, 8 points in Weapons of Choice for that GB, 6 points in 𝐓𝐢𝐦𝐬's Pact, 5 points in Perfection, 5 points in Confidence, and 1 point in Exuberance. Probably are asking why I didn't take any of the critical strike vulnerability or the critical strike multiplier, and I just ran out of points. If you want to be less defensive and you don't want to have all the dust shrouds, you can definitely take these points out and place them up here, allowing you to do more critical strike damage. However, we mostly turn this into a bleed build, but if you do put on the end game weapons or play the damage version with the end game bases that do more melee damage, definitely recommend changing these 6 points out, putting up here for more critical strike multiplier to do more damage. Alright, for idols, items, blessings, and uniques, we are obviously wearing 2 humming bees. Now, these don't have very much damage on them. In fact, they only come with 10 melee physical damage. So right off the bat, you can pretty much assume that you're not going to be doing a lot of physical damage. However, they come with a huge amount of attack speed, and they also give you up to 7 ward on melee hit. And then you get some extra elemental damage and move speed, but we're not too worried about that. Now, again, these aren't going to do the most hit damage, but they do allow you to attack super fast, which is going to allow you to apply a lot of bleeds, and that's basically what we turned it into. We also matched this up with 2 Ring of the Third Eye, so we could have 100% crit, and this would allow us to have a 30% chance every time we did a crit to gain 15 to 8 ward on that crit hit. With 2 of those, you're getting a lot of ward. We're getting ward guaranteed on hit, up to 7 per sword that we have on of the Humming Bee, and then there's a 60% chance to gain some extra ward on top of that, or 30% twice, which is really only 54% or some crazy number. But the point is, lots of ward is being generated. For the idols, we're wearing some 2x2s that have chance to bleed per equipped sword, and then you can fit some 1x1s in for extra resistance, as we didn't cap those in a lot of slots, and then some 1x2s for more resist or critical strike chance, or you can go hybrid health. Those are your choice. I'm just going to hover over the actual items that we have on. You will notice that we don't have all the slots filled. This was kind of thrown together rather quick. Feel free to change things up and put things in a way that would allow you to have full defense, as you will want to be full defense with this. And again, the build planner will be in the description below, as well as in the written guide, so feel free to mess around with it and change it how you please. So this is not a min-max version of this build. Again, this is a B-rated Humming Bee dual wielding build. Not meant for crazy damage, just if you have a couple of them, wanted to find something you could do in Empower to challenge yourself and see how much ward you could generate as a Bladedancer. These are the blessings. Again, nothing crazy. We didn't go blessing farming, so I don't have the perfect ones. You can definitely get more armor. You can keep the endurance that I have on this character. You can basically do whatever you want. Alright, let's go ahead and go to the character sheet. Alright, for the character sheet, you can see we have almost 1200 health. We have some resistance, but none are capped except for the void and physical. We could use a little bit more elemental. You can definitely trade some idols around to get that. You can craft some better gear. Definitely can do that to get them capped. For armor, we have about 25%, and then of course for dodge, we have about 41%. We're really building into the dodge. Again, if you take off the Humming Bees and you wear crafted swords, you can definitely get that much higher with percent increased dodge rating on both of them. And then as you have Dust Shrouds, that will get even higher. For instance, here, if we drop a smoke bomb, you can see we instantly start jumping up quite a bit higher. Again, for this build for defense, we're not capped on critical strike avoidance. You're definitely going to want to get some of that in there. We're not quite capped on endurance, so there's plenty more you can do for it. And then for glancing below, once you have the smoke bomb active, once you do some melee attacks, you can get pretty close to 100% of that to be a little bit more defensive. Again, this is not a min-maxed version of this build. It was just thrown together as I was asked to do it by somebody who sponsored it in a stream. Alright, and then for damage. Alright, for skill rotation and how to play the build, you can put Smoke Bomb on autocast if you want. For me, I just like to shift around and use Flurry. That's it. You're going to generate ward by using it. You have that force wave, so it looks really cool. You can attack from really far away, and you can see that we can generate over 1,000 ward on just this single target. On top of that, most of our damage, you can see we're not hitting for very high numbers, is going to be bleed damage. We're doing between 20 and 30,000 damage bleed ticks on the training dummy, which is about 2 to 3,000 damage ticks on enemies. It's not that high of damage, but again, you can swap to a couple of crafted swords. There'll be a build planner for that, which will allow you to do even more damage, although you won't generate the ward. Again, thank you for sponsoring this build, Open. It's been fun. Something I would have never originally done, you know, not with the humming bees. But if you guys have some humming bees laying around, you just want to mess around with it, it's a pretty fun build. The attack speed is really crazy. Alright, that's going to be it for this build guide. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, stay safe and enjoy some gameplay.